And I am joined, as I always am at this stage, by our executive coach and author of the book Empathy, which is out right now, Harold Hillman. Morning to you, Harold.
Good morning, Mel.
Another day, another lockdown. Let's hope things change tomorrow.
I consider myself to be pretty resilient, and I'm starting to go a bit stir crazy now with the days blurring together, and I am dying for some takeaway.
Oh, you're not alone there. Hey, let's talk about intuition today. What exactly is intuition, and what role does it play in our decision making?
We often refer to intuition as a gut feeling, a hunch. Often described as a hunch. It's a sensation that appears pretty quickly in your conscious mind without you being fully aware of what's actually driving that. So an example of that would be if you're interviewing a candidate for a role and you have their CV, and on paper they look absolutely perfect for the role. They meet they tick all of the boxes. But there's something in that gut feeling that says, I wonder what's going to happen here. Very often we let the rational brain prevail over the unconscious brain, and as a result, 6 months later, when that person is leaving because they didn't work out, you go, why didn't I trust my intuition around this? And so intuition largely resides in what we call the emotive brain. Studies show that roughly 20% of the brain's gray matter is dedicated to conscious thoughts, what we call our rational brain, while 80% is dedicated to non-conscious thoughts. And think of intuition as being the bridge between the rational brain or the conscious brain and the unconscious brain. And every now and then we get a signal, but we don't have the analytical reasoning to sort of understand what's going on, but it is something that sits in your gut.
Mm-hmm. Is it true that women have stronger intuition than men?
Yes, in general, this is true. There will be exceptions, but this is true. As a rule, women are more emotionally intelligent than men, largely because women are more self-aware. Women are more comfortable with feelings and emotion, which embody intuition, feelings and emotion, but particularly feelings. Women are also more adept at drawing a correlation between how they think and feel and the impact on the outcome. Men, in general, are less self-aware, largely because many men struggle with feeling emotion, and that, again, is a big part of intuition. Young girls are given far more latitude to talk about their feelings when they're kids and then when they become teenagers, so that by the time they become adults, they've done a strong correlation between feeling something, thinking something, feeling something, and the outcome. Whereas in many cultures, and this includes New Zealand, Mel, a lot, we will say to our young sons, if they get emotive, we will say, suck it up. Or, we don't give our sons the latitude to associate emotion as a part of the way that humans operate. And so into adolescence and into adulthood, many men are very uncomfortable around feelings. And again, that's where intuition is embedded.
And that's really not particularly healthy, is it?
It's not healthy. It's something that we certainly have to deal with as a nation, but particularly given at one point in the last, I forget when it was, it may have been around 2015 or so, but New Zealand had one of the highest teenage suicide rates in the developed world, and but with a huge percentage of those being our teenage adolescents, males. Adolescence, and it just reinforces again the idea that particularly when we're growing up as teenagers, to give our sons the latitude to be able to express emotion, to understand emotion a bit more, to be able to put it in proper perspective and those types of things.
What is the right balance then? Because it is funny, you do often have that gut feeling that you can get it with people that you just don't like someone and you don't know why, your just gut says no. But what is the right balance between rational and intuitive? I mean, how do you find that level?
Yeah, we need both, and we need both intuition and reason to make the best possible decisions for ourselves on a day-to-day basis, but for our businesses, for our families. Unfortunately, for many of us, we experience success using more of the rational brain. There's a tendency to favor the rational brain over the emotive brain in decision making, even though what I've experienced is that the older people get in life, certainly this is the case for me, but in lots of conversations with friends and clients, where the older you get, the more you do begin to trust your intuition. You feel something, it's signaling something to you, and you're more inclined to stay with it a bit to understand it and factoring it into your decision making.
So what are some of the practical things then that you can do to heighten your intuition?
One thing that when I grew up, Mel, again, I'm 66, and so I grew up in an era pre-laptops and computers and those types of things, and people kept diaries. I kept a diary. A number of my friends did. It was very common in my generation. I think it's still a common thing to do, and that is writing your thoughts and feelings down on paper. Just keeping whether it be a daily or a weekly log of how the week unfolded, and to be very expressive in your own diary. That is, you're writing this to yourself, and so to really see the connection between decisions you're making and maybe emotive. The catalyst may be more emotive than rational around it. Once you begin to take a look at your own thinking across a period of time, it allows you to be able to say, there's a common pattern there. I wonder what that is. I would also say to people who want to raise their intuition is to turn off the inner critic. The inner critic is definitely loaded in the rational brain, and that is the voice that says to you, ignore that. Ignore that feeling. Now, the intuition is sometimes infused with unconscious bias, and that's something that you and I have talked about on a previous show, Mel. And the idea is to allow yourself to go with that feeling a little bit more, to try to understand it a little bit more deeply. And then thirdly, it's really again for people who may struggle with being more connected to their emotive self, is to put on a piece of music or look through some really compelling art and get a feel for what pulls you in, what compels you in. When you listen to a song and it takes you to a specific memory, what's that all about? What's that telling you in terms of, in other words, get comfortable with a deeper connection to what your emotive brain is often signaling to you.
Harold Hillman, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and let's hope next week when we chat we have moved down a level.
Let's hope so. I certainly hope so, Mel.
Fingers crossed. I'll shout you a coffee when we can actually meet up again one day whenever that may be. I'm not putting dates on anything at the moment. I've learnt my lesson. Harold Hillman, executive coach. If you want more from Harold, sigmoidcurve.com, and his book Empathy is out in good bookstores right now.